My role is to set the tone and issue the charge today. And so as we kick off the King holiday observances, I stand before you with a mandate, a moral charge, a national and global summons, because the hour is too dangerous, the divisions too deep, the despair too widespread for anything less. I summon all of us not as citizens of divided nations, but as members of one endangered human family standing at the crossroads of consequence. As our nation enters another year marked by social strain, economic uncertainty, global conflict, and moral confusion, the 2026 King holiday observance is more critical than ever because we are living in a time when violence, displacement, and dehumanization are being normalized. People across this nation feel the weight of division, the erosion of trust, and the fear that our shared future is slipping away. In that context, our 2026 theme, Mission Possible 2, Building Community, Uniting a Nation the Nonviolent Way, is not just timely, it is essential. We are living in a world trembling under the weight of conflict, corruption, climate crises, economic exploitation, inhumanity, injustice, and political extremism. We are watching democracies fracture, truth erode, and compassion evaporate. We're witnessing leaders who weaponize fear, systems that normalize inequality, and societies who refuse to see the sacredness in every human life. These are not isolated events. They're signals that the soul of humanity is under siege. Yesterday's heartbreaking and unacceptable shooting in Minneapolis further illuminates the point. It reminds us that when policies are driven by force and fear, human dignity is always the first casualty. This is why the work of the King Center and our King holiday programs matter deeply now. We are not just remembering history, we're training people to practice nonviolence as a way of life and to transform the conditions that allow violence to thrive. Across the nation and the world, people are anxious. People are weary. People are retreating into silos, into tribes, into fear, into echo chambers, because despair has convinced them that hope is naive and community is impossible. Across the world, we see leaders crossing moral and human boundaries in pursuit of power, resources, and control. We watch in dangerous silence with eyes wide open the genocidal violence from Gaza to Sudan to Congo. And here at home, we are experiencing the separation and dehumanization of people who are simply seeking safety and dignity. We see efforts to dismantle tools like DEI that were designed to correct injustice and expand opportunity for Black and marginalized communities. But hear me clearly. This is not the hour to shrink. This is the hour to rise. The theme Mission Possible is not a slogan, it is a global alarm, a moral siren, a call to every conscience unwilling to surrender humanity's future to hatred, fear, violence, or despair. My father warned us, we must learn to live together as brothers, or together we will be forced to perish as fools. His words were not poetic, they were prophetic. And today, as inequality grows, families struggle to survive, and tensions rise, that warning echoes with renewed urgency. We must choose division or community, fear or courage, chaos or nonviolence. And I say to you today, with the full weight of my father's and mother's legacy, that Mission Possible is a lifeline. It's not optional. It is mandatory. It reminds us that even in the darkest hour, we are not powerless. The challenges we face cannot be solved in silos, by scapegoating, by canceling, or retreating into hardened camps. They demand a renewed commitment to justice, empathy, shared responsibility, and our common humanity, which is the beloved community. My father also said on many occasions that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. That means our survival, our flourishing, our future all are collective. When any community is pushed down, the whole nation sinks. So what does building community and uniting the nation the nonviolent way truly require? It requires truth-telling, even when the truth is uncomfortable. It requires courage, especially when fear is fashionable. It requires listening, not to respond, but to understand. It requires accountability, not for punishment, but for transformation. And above all, it requires love, not sentimentality, but a fierce, disciplined commitment to the well-being of all people. Nonviolence, as my father taught, is not passive or weak, as some believe. It is a power harnessed by love, strength disciplined by conscience, and truth armed with courage. It is justice organized with strategy. It is the only force strong enough to break the cycles of violence. Nonviolence 365, as we teach, is about equipping people to confront injustice without creating new oppressors or becoming what we oppose. It is a love-centered way of thinking, speaking, acting, and engaging that leads to personal, cultural, and societal transformation. And we need that force again, not tomorrow, but now. So I call on every activist, every leader, policymaker, artist, entertainer, educator, media commentator, social media influencer, and young person hungry for change, step into this moment with fire, focus, and fearless love. Building community is not someone else's job. It is your job, my job, our collective mandate to choose the non-violent way. Not because it's easy, but because it's the only path that leads to life. Violence, on the other hand, is a system and a mindset that distracts us from justice. Violence destroys the future. Nonviolence builds it. Violence fractures community. Nonviolence restores it. Violence hoards resources. Nonviolence ensures all share in Earth's abundance. And in this moment, when artificial intelligence is reshaping our world, building community is definitely not optional. It is a moral imperative. If we do not strengthen the bonds of our shared humanity, we risk being overtaken by systems with no conscience, no compassion, and no moral memory. AI is rewriting economies and even recreating the voices and images of those like my father who can no longer speak. The question, though, is, will our conscience be stronger than our code? Will our ethics be bolder than our algorithms? Machines can learn patterns, but they cannot learn love. They can process data, but cannot honor or defend the dignity of a single soul. Only we human beings can do that. And if we do not anchor this technological revolution in love and moral vision, it will deepen injustice instead of defeating it. My father warned of the giant triplets of racism, militarism, and extreme materialism. Those triplets have now grown up, and they travel the world through social media, economic policies, weapons of war, and even our technologies. They whisper, protect your tribe, hoard your wealth, fear your neighbor, dehumanize your opponent. But there is another voice today, the voice of nonviolence. It says you can resist injustice without losing your humanity. It says you can confront power without copying cruelty. Nonviolence says you can build a world where technology serves people, not the other way around. So what does Mission Possible 2 require of us in this age of war, fear, rage, and AI? It requires that we reclaim what makes us human, that we refuse to let lies amplified by machines drown out truth born of conscience, that we resist the temptation to retreat into silos or surrender to despair, that we rise above division and choose the courageous work of community building in our families, where children learn that worth is measured not by followers, but by humanity. building in our neighborhoods where we cross lines of race, class, politics, and faith to listen, learn, and love. And online where we demand that platforms promote justice, transparency, and respect. Mission Possible 2 challenges us to believe that unity is not naive, it is necessary. That nonviolence is not weak, it is warrior work. That even in an age of artificial intelligence, moral intelligence must lead the way. So today, let this be our charge. We will not bow to fear. We will not surrender to hate. We will not outsource our conscience to machines. We will build community. We will unite this nation the nonviolent way because the soul of humanity, the future of democracy, and the moral direction of our world are at stake. This King holiday, let's not simply honor my father's memory. Let us continue his mission. Let us rise with moral fire so that future generations may say they chose love over apathy. They chose justice over fear. They chose unity over division and community over chaos. They chose nonviolence over non-existence. And because they did, the mission prevailed.